All right, so in Game 3 of the NBA Finals, the Warriors lost to the Celtics in Boston by a final score of 116 to 100. In a game that really wasn't the Warriors' game right from the start. Boston, outscored the Warriors by 11 to start off the game. And the Warriors had a very, very good third quarter, but unfortunately, that was the only quarter in this game where the Warriors outscored Boston. I think really a recurring theme that is sort of, emerging is the Warriors in the fourth quarter are a completely different team than the Warriors in the third quarter. And this game was just really messy. I mean, there was one point where the Warriors were winning. It was, I believe, 85 to 84, but, they just couldn't keep that lead going. And at that moment, Steve Kerr eventually sat Stephen Curry at the end of the third quarter. And I think that might have cost the Warriors the game. I mean, Curry was on a roll. And by the time he came in, the game was sort of swinging back towards Boston. And Curry also sort of got hurt in this game. Also signs are pointing to that he's okay, but, you never want to see a guy like Steph Curry or anyone get hurt like that. In this game, the Warriors struggled, but they did have a good game from Curry with 31 points. Thompson started out really slow, but I got to give Thompson credit. He did bounce back. He had, eventually a pretty good game with 25 points. Wiggins had 18, but the Warriors, unfortunately, just couldn't get much production. And I hate to say it, but I feel like Draymond Green is really bringing us down. He fouled out of the game. He only had 2 points. And, I know Draymond brings energy, but I fear that energy is the only thing he brings. I don't know if Draymond is really helping us right now. I think he's hurting us. The Warriors were getting out-defended. They were getting out-rebounded. I mean, you look at the rebounds in this game. The Warriors had 16 less than the Celtics, and the Celtics out-rebounded us offensively by 15 to 6. I mean, that's just pure dominance on one end. To add on to that, like I said, Boston was getting so many blocks, and I think also the refs in this game. I usually am not super fond of judging the refs because I think they call things on both sides, but I think in this game the reffing was horrible. The officiating was hard to watch. There were very bad calls. Curry had 4 fouls called on him, and he only shot at the line once, I think. Yeah, I mean, Curry made some spectacular shots, and I think, unfortunately, I'm sort of pessimistic right now with the way the series is going. This game and Game 1 have really taken a toll on how I feel about this team, the Warriors, and I fear that maybe, the Celtics are just the better team. I don't know. I don't want to think that because I think we've done so much to get here, but at the same time, I'm sort of accepting what's going on, and I fear that Curry just isn't getting enough help sometimes when his teammates aren't really showing out. So I think if the Warriors are going to win this series, they got to play better defense. The defense was not very good to start the game out, and that sort of swung momentum towards Boston. Now, the Warriors did have a very good third quarter that eventually got them within, a couple points and leading at some points in the game, but really, the Celtics dominated in the fourth quarter because the Warriors were giving them open shots, and the Warriors' shot selection wasn't good. They were using up all the shot clock. It just wasn't a good quarter for them. With that being said, I think really in Game 4, it's a must-win. I think to go down 3-1 is going to be pretty close to impossible to come back from. It's been done once before, but I think the Warriors really have to show out in Game 4 and play like they did in the third quarter, the whole game. I think people talk about how good the Warriors are in the third quarter, but I think that doesn't really matter if you're playing poorly in the other 3 quarters. I mean, they got outscored 23 to 11 in the fourth quarter. It's embarrassing. And there's too many turnovers, and I think I'm not going to judge the fouling too much because the reffing was bad, but at the end of the day, it's out of our control, no matter how much we complain about it. So, yeah, the Warriors lose 116 to 100. This was the first finals game in Boston of this year, and it was an unfortunate loss. The Celtics go up 2-1 in the series. Yeah. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys later. And yeah, go Warriors.